Thank you, Yake. I'll now like to ask Matabo to take us through some of the risk elements, and as the head of internal audit at Transnet, and congratulations, you've been appointed 1st of July 2013, and also one of her other responsibilities is that of being the head of the group forensic unit. Tabo, thanks.
Can I stand, Madam Chair? Thank you. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you'll allow me to stand. I'm afraid I will fall asleep if I'm sitting down. I see that my boss is here and my former boss is here, so I need to be careful what I say this afternoon. And all protocol observed. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to refer to my notes regularly. Though I have slides, I'll be referring to my notes. Do you have the thing to change? I'm sure we've all heard about the deep water disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. We know about this BP disaster that cost the company billions of dollars in damages. BP executives pressured supervisors in the rig to speed up drilling operations, to hold down expenses as part of their corporate culture to maximize profits. As a result, safety measures were compromised, and we all know what happened in 2010 when the rig exploded and the disaster resulted. This is clearly a failure in risk management processes. Their risk management process was not effective. And as I address today's topic on the effectiveness of what are the key elements or the key features of an effective risk management process or function, my presentation will not really focus on the risk management function itself, but looking at other more broader areas that support the risk management function. Thank you. Firstly, I would like to talk about commitment and support from top management. I think for risk management to be effective, top management needs to set the tone. Sincere commitment by management and consistency in the enforcement of risk management principles are the foundation for an effective risk management function. I believe that if the top team has a positive attitude towards risk management, the rest of the organization will follow. Employees tend to do what their managers and the top leadership do. So if executive management and middle management have a positive attitude towards risk management, the employees will also follow. Secondly, I would like to talk about communication. Second slide. Good communication is essential in the risk management strategy. Managing risks involves everybody in the organization. Therefore, it is vital that everybody understand what risk management is about, what their role is, and who needs to do what and when. Therefore, communication, having the right communication systems and processes in place is key in making sure that even the lowest level within the organization understands this. They understand the risk management, they understand their role and what they need to do. And thirdly, I'm going to talk about creating a culture of risk management within the organization. As we know, risks are there always, and risk management is at the heart of the human decisions that govern day-to-day operations. Cultivating a consistent risk management culture throughout the organization is fundamental in its effectiveness. It is relevant to all parts of the organization, not just to risk managers. Sometimes we make the mistake of saying, when the people talk about risk, we say it's the role of the risk manager to make sure that that risk is mitigated. Risk managers are there to facilitate, but ownership of the risks lies with the various line managers and employees who work in that area. All stakeholders need to understand that when things go wrong because a particular risk was not managed, the result or the consequence can be devastating. Therefore, a strong risk culture plays a role in ensuring the organization's health and performance. It is therefore crucial for organizations to define their risk culture. A strong risk culture will lead to clear communication of the risk management strategy, rapid escalation of risks and threats to the right levels within the organization, close monitoring of risks and mitigation plans. Risk management is everybody's responsibility, and only through a culture of accountability towards risk management can a company meet its objectives. Fourthly, I would like to touch on board oversight. The role of the board has become increasingly challenging due to the current global challenges that we face. The board has to fully participate, I believe, in the risk identification process to ensure that management has put in place relevant systems and processes to monitor and manage those risks. Therefore, at a strategic level, I believe that board members need to be involved in identifying those strategic risks. The board should also ensure that the company approaches risk management systematically across the divisions and the functions. The board can oversee this through the audit committee or the risk committees. Furthermore, risk has to be a standing item on the board's agenda. The board has to satisfy itself that the company's top team is managing especially the top risks, and that they are happy with the progress that is made on the mitigation plans. The board needs to consider how risk management integrates with the company's strategy setting process. We have to ensure that risk management is embedded within both the strategy setting process and the process for managing performance against those strategies. Risk is often just an afterthought in some organizations. It is an afterthought of formulating strategy, resulting in strategic objectives not being met or being unrealistic, because risk management is just seen as an addition to managing performance. Basically, whether directly or indirectly, I believe that the board should oversee the process. And the last point that I want to touch on is a clearly defined role for the Chief Risk Officer. I think in my experience, for example, I've come across Chief Risk Officers or risk managers who don't really understand their role, or sometimes management not understanding the role of the Chief Risk Officer or the risk management function itself. So we need to make sure that we clarify that role to make sure that ownership of risks relies with the line managers or the people within that area of responsibility, and that the Chief Risk Officer or the risk management function will provide all the tools, all the frameworks, and assist them in monitoring, but ownership lies with them. The CRO must be able to ensure that the organization's overall risk level is consistent with its risk appetite. The Chief Risk Officer has to make sure that risk appetite is defined and that management and the board are happy with it. The Chief Officer must be able to provide an integrated view of overall risk. Therefore, the Chief Risk Officer must be someone who can interact with executive management and at a board level. She must ensure, I was arguing with someone whether I should write she or he, but I believe it's she, must ensure that risk is a standing item in all relevant meetings, from board level to EXCO to operations to team meetings, right to the lowest level where it's relevant, that risk issues are discussed. In summary, I am saying to you, an organization is as strong as its weakest link. The blame for poor risk management must be carried throughout the organization. Whilst the board and senior management must set the tone at the top, each and every person within the organization should be tuned in to risk management. We need to make sure that everybody does their part. Thank you.